All right, today I'm gonna be giving you a step-by-step plan on how you can start making money online. I feel like we're living in a very unique time. Inflation has gone crazy. It's hit people's pockets. Debt is at an all-time high, and a lot of people need the extra money. Or they have dreams of wanting to leave their 9 to 5 entirely. There's a lot of information and tools out here that you can use to make money. Most people just don't know how. But people already have the main tool they need. That is your phone and or a laptop. That and Wi-Fi is the only thing you need to get started. You can get that at a library or the Starbucks near you, all right? So step number one is going to be to choose your path. Remember like Goosebumps books or like those adventure books where you read through and at the bottom of the page to be like, if you want to go down this hallway, go to page 67. If you want to jump out this window, go to page 92. That's kind of where you're at. And that can be a scary place, feeling like you have to commit to something which might seem permanent so early. But I don't want you to look at it like that, which is why I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of some of the best ways. If you look online, there's no shortage of ways to make money. One of my mentors used to say, there's a million ways to make $1,000,000. And what I've realized in building my brand, working with other businesses, kind of studying different people in marketing, business, entrepreneurship, I found that most of those ways fall into one of these 5 categories. All right. So I'm going to break down the 5 main categories. The first one is going to be affiliate marketing. I think a lot of people, a lot of coaches, a lot of people who create this kind of content, they always start with affiliate marketing just because that's like the lowest barrier to entry. That's the easiest to get into. If you don't know what affiliate marketing is, it's basically earning money by promoting other people's products or services. And if you want to see this in action, scroll through TikTok for like 5-10 minutes. More than likely there's going to be a number of videos that come up with somebody creating content about a product they found in the TikTok shop or a product they're selling on their own. But that's not what we're talking about right here. So basically what happens is these creators, they create content, they put out content kind of featuring the product, talking about it, something that they bought, they've used, they liked. They create content around it, and then they add a special link. And that link has a tag to it, which is unique for that creator. So anybody who clicks on that link and decides to buy after doing so, that creator makes a little bit of money from whatever that person buys, right? Like I said, this is the easiest to get into because a lot of the programs you join don't really have any type of minimum requirement. You don't have to pay for anything up front. You don't have to buy products and ship them out or anything. You just literally create content about products that you either already use, you enjoy, that you've bought before. All you're doing is creating content based around that product or service. Like I mentioned, you can do this on TikTok, promoting products from TikTok Shop for programs like Amazon Associates, which is the Amazon affiliate program. Same thing, you create content based around products that you use from Amazon and you add those to either like a link in bio or a newsletter or something like that. Then there's other programs you can join like ClickBank, or you can find ones from specific stores or brands that you shop at like Target, Best Buy, Walmart. I believe they all have affiliate programs. And then once you get accepted, basically you just focus on creating content that provides value and either shows how you like the product, how you use the product, why you think it's valuable, why you think people should try it. And you can do that either with TikTok, Instagram, different types of social media, emails, blogs. All you would need to do is to find different ways to plug your affiliate link promotion without being too salesy or too promo-y, if that makes sense. What really helps when you're doing this is reviewing products that you actually use and actually love, because people tend to be able to spot the difference between somebody who really uses a product, who really recommends something, and people who are just doing it for like a money grab or just trying to chase a check. And if you get really good at this, can also lead to things like becoming a UGC creator for specific brands, or even brand deals and partnerships, what kind of gets into that influencer territory. But if you're going to start somewhere and you have no experience selling a product or service, this is a great way to get started. Just kind of dip your toes in and get your feet wet, right? And once I get to step 2, I'm going to explain how you can learn how to do affiliate marketing, how you can get really good at it, or any of these other business models, all right? So just hang on. If you have questions on how you're supposed to figure out how to do it, how you're supposed to create the right content, hold on to that. I'm going to get to that in just a little bit. All right, I got you. So the second way that a lot of people are making money with content and social media is by joining partner programs. And this can be YouTube AdSense, getting paid from the TikTok creator program. Instagram has a bonus program. Facebook has a bonus program. Pretty much any social media platform, I believe most, if not all, social media platforms have some type of way for you to get paid just from posting engaging content that gets views and keep people on the platform. And the best way to do this is just by consistently posting, consistently creating content that grows an audience, that gets engagement, and that meets the platform's requirements when it comes to the partner program. Some of them have different rules about what kind of content is qualified as content that you can monetize. can't use other people's content. You can't steal and post what other people have already posted. So if you decide to go this route, you want to make sure you understand what qualifies as content that can get monetized so that you can build out an effective strategy to see success with this model, right? One of the best ways to see success with this business model is to choose a niche that you're going to focus on and that you're going to talk about. So that could be health, that can be fitness, that can be diet, that can be money, that can be investing, that can be stocks, that can be real estate, that can be memes, that can be clips, that can be motivational content. Like there's a number of different memes that you can post about. And the key is to do the research to make sure there are other channels or other people posting a similar kind of content or talking about the same things, and make sure that there are people engaging with those platforms so that you know there's actually a demand for the content that you want to focus on. If you want to put out a bunch of content about relationships and how to fix that with families, just do some research. I'm sure there is an audience out there for it, but just do some research to see what other people are doing in that space so that you can see what might be a good avenue to go down, what's getting results and what's not getting results, right? Just so that you don't waste your time doing something that doesn't have a real ROI attached to it. That makes sense? So the next main business model is going to be subscriptions. I think everybody kind of has an understanding of what this is. It's basically a way to create recurring and consistent income. This is something that a lot of people strive for because it gives you a lot more certainty when it comes to your MRR or your monthly recurring revenue. So this can be a number of different things, from memberships to communities, subscriptions, Patreon, OnlyFans, Slack or a Discord channel, or even Instagram and I think TikTok both have subscription models that you can join and have your audience sign up for like exclusive content and stuff. How you decide to grow this up is going to depend on what kind of exclusive content or exclusive value you're holding behind your paywall or your monthly membership. So how you decide to market it is going to depend on what people are getting on the back end. This can be anything from behind the scenes content, extra stuff, lives with you as the creator, tutorials. There's a number of different ways you can do it. But just remember, with subscription, you have to continuously show up because people are paying for access to you. So you have to continuously show up and provide value. If you have a Patreon, you have to continuously provide extra content that you're not putting out for everybody to see. If you have a community or a membership, you have to make sure you're active and engaged in those communities so that people feel like they're getting their money's worth. Because if you don't, then people might sign up if you're able to market it really well. But if you don't have anything on the back end that keeps them there, that consistent monthly revenue is going to drop fast and you're going to have people coming in and going right back out. That's what you call a high rate of churn. And that's something you really want to avoid when it comes to building up a subscription model. Next, we have digital products. This is one of my favorites. It's basically what the name suggests is you selling downloadable products like ebooks, guides, templates, courses. I think a lot of people sleep on the potential and the opportunity with these because they feel like, oh, it's digital information. The information's already out there, whoop-de-whoop. But you're not always so much selling the information as much as you're selling your unique strategies, your unique systems, how you interpreted the information and how you curated and put it together for somebody else to digest, if that makes sense. Because yes, there is a bunch of information. There's a shit ton of information out there, but it's information that's all over the place. It's information from different people and it's information that's usually not in a specific order and may not be nuanced to that specific person. So if somebody has a fitness brand, yes, there may be a marketing course for photographers or there might be a general marketing course, but how to market a fitness brand is going to be different from how you want to market as a DJ or market as a content creator. So by having a specific niche and industry that you serve, which I'll talk about more later, you're able to be more specific and more targeted with those products so that you're able to sell a lot more. But the age of internet learning, digital self-development, we're in the midst of it right now. People are taking skills that they've learned from YouTube, taking things that they've learned from TikTok, taking courses, working with coaches. They're taking this stuff and they're creating businesses, they're creating opportunities, they're creating careers. And literally all it comes down to is you packaging up your knowledge, your expertise, your systems, your information, and putting that out to somebody for them to digest it and for them to teach themselves a skill that you may have picked up or learned or have a lot of knowledge in. So if you know how to DJ, you can sell a course for getting started with DJing, how to get your first gigs. If you know how to knit, you can create a course or a program where people get together and knit, or you teach people how to knit sweaters so they can sell their own stuff. Like there's a bunch of different things that you can do, a bunch of different ways that you can monetize your knowledge. This is, like I said, one of my favorites because I feel like there's so many opportunities when it comes to digital products, ebooks, courses, guides. and the ability to kind of make up for the lack of guidance or specificity when it comes to the education system, if that makes sense. Instead of being force fed a bunch of information that we don't end up using in real life, the internet and social media content, digital products are allowing people to find skills that are really valuable and really helpful and take those skills and turn them into real life opportunities or real life jobs, real life businesses. And thanks to different platforms like Gumroad, Etsy, Teachable, High Level, Kajabi, even Stan Store, you're able to create and sell your own digital products, and it doesn't take a bunch of time and energy to get set up. It is very creator and user friendly because they want it to be used by a lot of people. So they want to make sure it's easy to use, it's easy to understand. And you can figure out how to use these platforms in a weekend, in 2 weeks, in a month. Create your own course, record your content, get it uploaded, and literally start selling and making money in less than 30 days in most cases. And with these, the best place to get started is just starting with stuff that you already know, something that you feel like you have skills, you feel like you have expertise in, something that people might ask for your help with, whether that's cooking, doing hair, taxes, art. More than likely you have some type of skill, some type of expertise, some type of knowledge that people will find value in. There's information and digital products out there that you can consume, become an expert in, or become skilled in, and then you can create a product or a service based around that information that you obtained. It doesn't have to be something big, something grand like a course or like a 12-week program where you coach somebody through something. It can be something simple as a workbook or a journal, even a template. Those all sell really well, and it's more than enough to get you started so that you can start building out your digital product suite. Next up, we have freelancing or offering services. It's basically contracted work where you provide a skill or offer a service, whether that's social media management, graphic design, copywriting. This is basically where you offer a skill or service either in the digital world or in the real world. That can be anything from social media management to graphic design, virtual assistant, lawn care, hair care, face care, skin care. Literally, the options are endless. But what you're going to do is use social media and different platforms to either get your name out there, grow your brand, or find clients. Platforms like Fiverr, platforms like Upwork, if you provide like a home service like pool cleaning, lawn care, anything like that. Platforms like TaskRabbit and Thumbtack can also be really helpful. But the key with this is to make sure you are niche down and narrow as possible, especially when you're just getting started. This is really helpful when it comes to standing out in a crowded market space. So instead of saying you do social media management or you do copywriting, you do email marketing, you say I do email marketing for e-commerce brands who are doing $10,000 a month. You can get very specific and niche down so that instead of going super wide and hoping to grab something, you're super focused and targeted with who you're trying to get, which makes it a lot easier to get clients in the beginning. So one of the other ones that I didn't get to mention because it's a lot harder and a lot more time and capital intensive is starting an agency. And that's basically where you take your freelancing skills or the service that you're providing and turn it into a business where you provide that service for other businesses, for other brands, for other entrepreneurs, whatever it is. That's where I'm at with my business. That's what I'm doing. And it is something that can be extremely lucrative, can be very profitable for anybody if you're willing to take the time to invest in learning the skills and the systems and the processes. It's not something that I would recommend just diving into, especially if you have no experience with business or providing a service or anything like that. But long term, something down the road is definitely something that I feel like a lot of people would be really successful at, because there's always going to be businesses that need services provided to them. This doesn't just have to be a marketing agency. It can be a cleaning agency, a lawn care service, pool cleaning company. Like there's a number of different ways you can do it. But like I said, that's one of the more advanced ones. If you're just getting started, these 5 are more than enough to get you going and to help you make a couple extra $100, if not a couple extra $1,000 a month easily. All right, so now that we've broken down the different paths that you can choose as a beginner, let's talk about a plan to get started and how you're going to execute and see success with this. Okay, so step 2 is a plan to get started. This is how you're going to lock in. These are going to be very simple steps that you can follow to get started. I don't want to make this complicated because that's what we tend to do a lot of times. We tend to overcomplicate things and feel like we need to do a lot more, over prepare or procrastinate for a number of different reasons, which we can talk about at another time. But I'm going to give you very simple steps on how to proceed moving forward, right? So step number one is to set a very clear goal. How much do you want to make a month? And you can be realistic or you can be extremely optimistic with this. There is no right or wrong answer, but just know the more that number is, the higher that number is, the more work you're going to have to put into it. And you're going to have to make sure it makes sense for what you're doing. If you're selling a $10 journal and you want to make an extra $10,000 a month, you're going to have to sell a lot more journals than somebody who's selling a $5,000 to $10,000 coaching program. That's just simple math. And that's not to say you can't do that with a journal or with a low ticket product, but just be realistic about the number that you want to earn and what that looks like realistically as far as you getting customers or clients to make that purchase. All right. Having a clear understanding of what you're aiming for or what you're looking to do kind of solidifies it, and it gives you something definite to aim for. You're not just trying to make extra money or trying to start a side hustle. You're starting a side hustle that's going to bring you in an extra $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month. And once you know what that is, it makes it easier to break down what that looks like. So if I want to make $10,000 a month, I need to get X amount of clients with this product, or I need to sell this and this many times. Whatever that looks like, you want to make sure you have a clear understanding of what you're aiming for and what that looks like realistically. And I think that's really one of the most powerful things about digital marketing, is that because everything is based on data, it becomes a lot easier to hone in on that target once you figure out how the system and how the machine works. So you want to have a very clear goal before you get started on what you intend to make or what you intend to do with this business or side hustle, right? So next, you're going to pick one business model to start with. You're going to focus on one very specific model. Trying to do too many things at one time is going to pull you in different directions, and it's not going to allow you to focus and lock in and master one individual business model. Don't try to do everything at once, because you're spreading yourself so thin and not being able to execute the way you need to. So you want to pick only one that you're going to focus on and prove that you're able to do it. Even if that's only making $10, $20 doing affiliate marketing, showing that you're able to make money creating content, putting out content, being on social media, showing that you're able to do it is going to motivate you to keep going and go even further. So don't try to do everything and build this mega company or trying to generate 6 figures in a month when you're just getting started. Yes, that is possible and potential down the road, but you want to lock in and start up somewhere easy and attainable so that you can start building up and making momentum. That makes sense? So you want to pick something that works for you, your skills, and the time you have to invest. Like I said, these are all kind of like the lowest barrier to entry. You can sign up for a partner program tomorrow. You can sign up for an affiliate program. You can start a subscription service tomorrow. You can create a digital product tomorrow. You can start offering a service tomorrow. None of these really have any kind of like barrier to entry. You just kind of have to do the technical stuff behind them and bring them to life. Whether that's signing up for a program, creating a product, figuring out your service, all of these can be done within 24 to 48 hours. So you're going to pick one to start with. And if you have no idea about any, you've never done any of them, you don't know where to get started, that's what the next step is going to be about. You're going to spend a day or two learning everything possible about whatever business model you choose. If that's affiliate marketing, if that's selling a service, if you decide you want to provide coaching, if you decide you want to help people lose weight, if you decide you want to help people with their mental health, with their confidence, if you want to start providing hair care, skin care, whatever it is you want to do, you're going to spend a day, 2 days learning as much as you can about that business model. There's a number of different ways you can do this. You can do it for free with YouTube, with TikTok, with beginner guides, with free courses. Literally just go online and search for how to get started with X, how to build up a X business, basics for doing skincare, basics for starting whatever it is that you want to do. You're going to go learn as much as possible. The goal here is to get started and execute as soon as possible, so you don't give time for doubt, procrastination, self-sabotage, or anything like that. But you're going to find as many free resources and any books that you can find. You can go to the library and find books there. You can find a lot of good information on YouTube. You can find full courses on YouTube. You can use platforms like Coursera, Udemy, Google. There are a number of free resources. It's just about finding them. Literally just go find them and spend a day, 2 days, 3 days, no more than 5 days to a week learning as much as you can. Because once you do that, you start to find excuses to not get started. Oh, still need to learn this. Oh, I still need to get this skill. Figure out the very, very minimum, very basics you need to get started, and then start executing. I'm going to give you an action plan on what to do next once you got the basics. But once you learn the basics, learn kind of how the foundation of the business works. Whatever it is you're doing, learn the basics, learn how people make money, learn what systems people have, learn what processes people use, learn what people do to get customers, learn the mistakes to avoid. Like, just spend time going down different rabbit holes about this business, learning from different people in the industry. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, social media, blogs, newsletters. Absorb as much information as you can, take notes, keep track, and kind of start game planning your own systems and processes. Which leads to the next part of the plan, is creating your content plan or your outreach plan. So, very quick breakdown. When it comes to marketing, when it comes to getting clients, when it comes to selling products, there's two main ways that you can do it. That's by inbound and outbound. Outbound is you sending out emails, you going door to door, you sending DMs, you calling people. It's you being active and going out to reach people. Inbound is you creating content and building up a brand so that people come to you and request your services or request your products. The best way to do it is to have a combination of both of these. The content that you put out, building up the brand, is how you build up kind of an audience, build up consistency, build up trust in the marketplace, kind of show your skills, show your knowledge, build authority. And then doing an outbound or outreach approach is always going to be a lot faster because you're getting very direct, very immediate response from people. Whereas inbound, the content, the brand building, that takes time. So it's not going to be right away. It's not going to be something that's immediate. So by doing a combination of the two, when you start out, you want to focus heavier on doing outreach, having conversations with people, whether that's in the DMs, whether that's in the comments, emails, phone calls, anything like that. That's going to help you start making money the fastest. Putting out content consistently, building up your brand is going to help you extend that and build something out that's going to last long term. If that makes sense. So what would that look like when it comes to some of these different business models? If you're doing affiliate marketing, you would want to start a social media account, probably either a TikTok or an Instagram, possibly a Pinterest, and start posting short form content, or even a Threads or a Twitter account where you focus on writing. And you're going to start posting helpful, valuable content. All your content shouldn't be focused on the product you're promoting. It should help the audience that's going to buy it. So it should provide them value. And every so often you find a way to promote that product. So if you are doing fitness, you would give out daily tips, whether that's eating right, dieting, fasting, workout routine, supplements to buy. And as you do that, you can start slipping in, oh, this is the company I use to get my meals delivered to me so I don't have to worry about cooking. This is the protein supplement that I use. This is the workout gear that I use. Slipping that in while you're providing that valuable content is the best way to not come across as salesy, is not come across as like you're only looking for money, because you're providing value to your audience up front. And then you're not directly selling them anything. You're just kind of suggesting them. It's like a friend who suggests something to you. It's like, oh, I found this workout plan. I found this jacket that I really liked. I think you might like it too. It's kind of more like a suggestion as opposed to you trying to sell something. And this could be the same if you want to do it with a blog, if you want to do it with a newsletter. It will work relatively the same way. You will create content that provides value to your audience and find natural, authentic ways to plug your affiliate link or the affiliate product, right? Now, if you decide you want to start freelancing, let's say you're a great writer, you do graphic design, you do video editing, anything like that, you want to create a portfolio or like a one-page resume. You can do this for free with Google Drive, with Canva, you can do it on Google Sheets or a Google document and just create a very simple, this is my resume, this is what I do, this is what I've done, these are the results I've gotten for people. And then you want to start pitching yourself. Doing freelancing, doing contractor work, it's going to be a lot more effective to start by doing an outbound approach, by reaching out to people, by contacting people, sending them DMs, reaching out on LinkedIn, putting yourself on Fiverr, putting yourself on Upwork, finding different ways to be active. Because you don't have the reputation, you don't have the business, you might not have the backlog of content built up yet. So by putting yourself out there, reaching out, starting conversations, and kind of finding ways to get your portfolio or your work in front of potential clients, that's going to be the fastest way to get clients. It's the same way I got my first clients when I was starting my marketing agency. The way I got my first clients was always by reaching out, going out and finding them, and basically just having a conversation on how you can provide them value and how you can help them. Now, let's say you want to start with digital products. The best way I would go about it is by using ChatGPT or just kind of brainstorming some very simple ideas that you can put together. If you go on ChatGPT and tell it you want to create a digital product, something that's low ticket, that people will find a lot of value in based on these skills and this expertise or this information that I have, it's going to spit you out a couple of different ideas. Don't overthink. trying to figure out which one you want to do or trying to create something specific, pick something that you can execute, that you can knock out in a day or two and get it built. Whether that's like a simple video course, an email course, a quick ebook, a quick guide, some templates. Find something that people are going to find value in, people will pay for. If you're not sure, look around your industry, look around for different people who are talking about the same thing that you want to talk about, the same thing that you're interested in, and figure out what they're creating, what they're selling, what they're using to generate income. And then focus on creating your own version of it. Like a simple template, guide, or ebook is going to be the easiest thing to get started with. I think an ebook was the first digital product I created, and I sold it for pay what you want. So I just put it up and let people pay what they want. Some people paid $1, some people paid $20. But just seeing that people were willing to pay for the information that I put together and put out there was very satisfying and very reassuring and letting me know I was on the right path and to keep going and keep pushing forward. Something I didn't mention on here are the different tools that you can use. So once you figure out your business model, once you know which one you're going to go down, when you start researching the basics, you should figure out what is the best way to kind of offer your service and kind of host your service. But some of the best places all around that work for most niches in industry are going to be StanStore, Gumroad, something like ConvertKit, formerly known as ConvertKit, StanStore, Gumroad, ConvertKit, Teachable, Shoply. So to make sure that you don't have to worry about building out a whole website, there are some very simple digital storefronts that you can use and upload your content to, upload your ebook, your digital products, whatever it is. Or if you're providing a service or providing coaching, having a calendar that people can book an appointment or a time to talk to you. These are the tools I would stick with. They all have their different prices and different things. Also, Honeybook, I forgot about that one. But for any of the business models I listed, whether you're doing affiliate marketing, brand deals, offering a service or a product, these are the main storefronts that I would stick to, where I would focus on. Probably take the least amount of setup, especially like StanStore, Gumroad, or a Honeybook, or a Calendly. Those are going to be the easiest ones to get started with. And again, when you're learning the basics, go through, figure out how to use Gumroad to sell digital products, how to use StanStore for a coaching business, how to use Honeybook as a makeup artist. Like, add that into the basics of what you're learning, how to set up these systems, how to use these to grow your business, how to maintain it. All the information is there. Like I said, you just have to be willing to put in the time and the energy to bring it to life. So you want to spend time learning these platforms, how they work, and how you can use them to grow your business. But as far as like having a storefront, doing email marketing, growing your brand, tracking your clients, tracking your customers, booking calls, these are the main tools I would recommend. You don't need all of them. You can get by with just the StanStore. You can get by with just a Gumroad. You can get by with just a Honeybook or a Calendly, just a Teachable. But figure out which one works for you, which one makes the most sense after you've done some research. And you're going to grab that and you're going to use that as your storefront or your main form of marketing, right? And then the last step in your plan is you want to track your progress. You want to keep track of what you're doing, keep track of what's working, pay attention to what's getting results, what's not getting results. Because as you're getting started, when you're new to this, you don't have any proven systems. You don't have anything proven that's been shown to work. You know for sure that this is going to get results. So you want to constantly be testing and trying and seeing what's going to work. And the only way you're going to be able to do this is by showing up, which brings us to our next and final step of building momentum and staying consistent. So by this point, you should have chosen a business model. You should have studied the basics, figured out what systems you're going to use, how you're going to go about getting clients, what creating content is going to look like for you. Once you kind of have all that clear and you have an idea of where you're going to get started, what you're going to do, what you're going to provide, it just becomes about showing up and staying consistent. So the best way to stay consistent and build up momentum, number one, is you want to stick with that choice for at least, I want to say a year, but at least at the very minimum, you want to give yourself 3 to 6 months. When I say stick with it for 3 to 6 months, that's with you showing up every day or as much as you possibly can with the amount of time and energy that you have. I know people have lives. I know people have 9 to 5s. They have jobs. So you might not be able to show up. But the less you're able to show up daily, the longer you need to commit to putting in the action and getting it to work. And the reason I say stick with it for at least 3 to 6 months is because the results aren't going to come instantaneous. It takes time for these things to start working. It takes time for the algorithm to start showing your content. It takes time for people to start trusting you, or for you to get a response from your DMs, from you calling, from you walking into businesses. It takes time to get those results and to actually get something in motion. So if you don't give yourself that time, that 3 months, that 6 months, that year to get those results, you're going to keep setting yourself back and keep having to start over and keep jumping back to zero every time you kind of give up and let that momentum fall off. So before you decide to try something new and pivot somewhere else, or add on this product or add on this system or try this new thing, just stick to one thing for at least 3 to 6 months, just to give yourself time to see if it really works or not. These things take time. Greatness takes time. And if you want to build something great, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take consistency, it's going to take showing up, and it's going to take some faith. Once you get clear on your business model and what you're going to do, what your content is going to look like, where you're going to host and all that, stick with that for 3 months and make sure you're showing up every day if possible, or as much as possible. Next, you want to make sure you're engaging with your audience and your community. A lot of people kind of skip out on this part, or they don't understand the value in it. But basically what it comes down to is that social media is a social based platform. A lot of it has to do with your engagement and interaction with other people, both inside your niche and potential clients, potential customers. So you want to make building up a relationship and a connection with people. It helps strengthen that bond with you and your audience. People are a lot more willing to have conversations and potentially buy from you if they know you, if they've had a conversation with you, if they've talked to you or connected with you in some way in the past. So you want to make sure you're building up a relationship and engaging with your audience and other people in your industry. Remember, you never know what somebody else in the industry might know and what value they might be able to provide you, whether that's a hack that they have, a system that they use, a software that they use, or even sending you customers or clients. You want to maximize your potential to connect with different people. So you want to make sure you're spending time every day engaging and interacting with people. And you can also use that as an opportunity to get feedback about what you're doing, about what you're building. Ask people, let people know a little bit about the service or products that you're creating or that you put together. Ask them what they think about it. Ask them, do they think it would be helpful? They find value in it. They pay for something like that. All of that is going to be very helpful in you not just creating and marketing your products, but seeing long-term success with it. Constantly finding out what people think about it, if it has any value in the marketplace. That makes sense. And then finally, you want to refine your process. You want to consistently be getting better with what you're doing, with the content you're putting out. Get feedback on the products, your low-ticket products. Get feedback on how it's working, what people are thinking about it. See what content is getting the most results, what content is getting you clicks, what content is getting you sales, and really double down and go harder on the stuff that's working and cut out the stuff that isn't so much, or find different ways to test it and try new things. The more you can test, the faster you can find out what works and what doesn't work, which will in turn allow you to be more profitable in the future because you've been trying all these different things and seeing what's working and what's not working. So before I end this, I just want to go over some common mistakes that people make and how you can avoid them. So first is something that really affected me a lot. It's called shiny object syndrome. And it's basically you just getting distracted by new things, new ideas, getting pulled in different directions, spreading yourself too thin, pivoting too fast. Like I mentioned before, you have to be patient. It takes faith and it takes time. And a lot of times it takes longer than we really expect. So we get antsy, we get nervous, we get anxious, and we like, oh, maybe I should hop over here, maybe I should try this. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Like I said, lock in for at least 3 to 6 months and continuously show up on what you're doing. Put out a piece of content every day, send an email every day, write a post every day, but continuously show up with your content and with your product and with your brand, and give it time to manifest and flourish. Give it some time, all right? Just remember, every time you jump to something new, you're basically starting from zero. You're basically starting from scratch. So you want to make sure you limit your distractions and how you spending your time, all right? Second big mistake that a lot of people make is not understanding or not knowing their audience. You want to make sure you take time to kind of dive in and understand who you're selling to, who you're talking to, who you want your target audience to be, who you want to work with. Get as clear as possible and get as much information as you can on them. You can do this by using AI or Google to research. You can check social media. You can look at content. You can look at comments on social media. You can look at other people's content, see what other people are saying about it. You can look at trending topics, but pay attention to what people are struggling with, what people need help with, people are looking for, and use that to kind of tailor not just your products, but your content and your marketing as well. Being able to speak to people's pain points and their goals is the best way to get people to see the value in what you're providing and decide they want to spend money or work with you. Next biggest problem that people make is overcomplicating the process. This is a lot of times them spending weeks on a logo or a website and coming up with some really elaborate thought out plan that doesn't even come into effect or they can't use most of. Start with where you're at. Don't try to do too much. Don't try to have everything perfect from the jump. Focus on imperfect action, focused on step by step, brick by brick, building block by block. Imperfect action is always better than perfection. Don't waste time over analyzing or over researching, over studying, over preparing. It's just going to cost time in the long run. And the best teacher is always action and experience, right? So the faster you can put something out and get results, the faster you can see what works, the faster you can figure out how to improve and how to make it better, right? Next problem that a lot of people have is not asking for help. Okay, there are a bunch of people out here providing a lot of good information, and a lot of them are willing to help you if you just ask. Not everybody, a lot of people are going to take you as asking, as trying to get something free out of them, and for some people that is the case. But if you genuinely need help, if you genuinely need some guidance, you can always hit me up on my social medias in here in the comments. You can always hit me up, ask questions. I'm here to help. I'm here to try and be a resource as much as possible. But most people are willing to help if you ask, especially if you post somewhere on like Threads or Twitter, or even Facebook groups or Reddit. If you ask a question in the right space, there are people who are willing to help. You just have to be willing to ask for it, all right? Don't let pride or ego or looking stupid or looking a certain way, don't let that stop you. Nobody cares. This is your future. This is your life. This is potentially a life-changing situation or a life-changing thing that you're doing. Don't let that bullshit get in the way and stop you from seeing the success that you're meant to see, all right? Then the final biggest mistake that people make is they quit too soon. Like I said, I've touched on this a couple times. I'm going to touch on it again because a lot of people start, they have that high from the momentum, that dopamine, that initial rush, and then they fall off. And then because they're not seeing results or it's not working how they thought it was. They don't know what to do next. They don't want to ask for help. A lot of people quit before they actually have time to see their investments and their time and their energy actually come to fruition. Don't let that be you, because you never know how close you are to making that breakthrough or hitting that next level or the next stride or getting that piece of information that can literally change everything for you. All right. I saw a quote that said personal development is the gateway drug to entrepreneurship. And that's a lot of what being a business owner, being a creator, being an entrepreneur is. It's just constantly finding ways to get better, constantly finding ways to improve both on yourself and what you're providing to the world. So if this is something you're passionate about, if this is something you're serious about, if this is something you really want to do, if you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, you're tired of not having the money you want, not being able to do what you want, not being able to buy what you want, having to work for a boss or a job that you really just don't like, if that is you, if that is serious, then there shouldn't be any amount of time that is too long for you to invest, for you to put into this, if that's something that you're really focused on and really determined on achieving. So whether it takes 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, there should be no amount of time that's too long. You might have to pivot, you might have to change at some point through those. Like I said, give yourself 3 months, 6 months, a year, give yourself time to see if your actual efforts, to see if they're working. But if they're not, that might mean you need to pivot too. And that's the goal doesn't change. The end goal doesn't change. How you get there might have to change, but the end goal should not change. All right. So yeah, that was how to make money online for beginners. I tried to keep this as overarching and as helpful as possible. If there's anything you're confused about, if anything you don't understand, let me know in the comments because I really appreciate that. All right. See you on the next one.